The first thing I heard when I picked up my phone was the chaotic din of an airport terminal. The second thing was my mother's voice, shrill with panic. The tickets are gone. We're at the check-in counter, and they're saying the reservation doesn't exist. What did you do? I took a slow, deliberate sip of my coffee, savoring the warmth of the mug in my hands. I glanced around my quiet, peaceful apartment. No suitcases by the door, no frantic energy. Just me, my coffee, and the sweet, sweet sound of karma hitting my family like a freight train. I have no idea what you're talking about, Mom, I said, my voice as calm as a summer lake. I canceled my trip to Rome a few days ago. Why would you be at the airport? The shriek that came through the phone was so loud I had to pull it away from my ear. It was a glorious sound. But to understand why I found my mother's absolute meltdown so satisfying, we need to rewind about 2 months. So, let me set the stage for you. In my family, there are 2 kids, me and my sister, Jessica. And to put it bluntly, I'm the placeholder child, and she's the golden child. I'm 24. I have a decent job I work my ass off for. I pay my own bills, adult stuff. Jessica is 22, and her primary occupation is being daddy's little princess. She's never held a job for more than 3 months. She still lives at home, and my parents think the sun shines out of her perfectly curated Instagram feed. I'm the responsible one. She's the one who needs support. I'm the one who has to work for everything. She's the one who just has to cry a little to get a new car. You get the picture. It's been this way our whole lives. My parents aren't evil, They're just deeply, profoundly biased. The people who always saw through this were my grandparents. They're old school, believe in hard work, and they've always been my biggest cheerleaders. My entire life, I have had one dream: to go to Rome. I'm a huge history nerd. I took Latin in high school, for God's sake. I majored in art history in college. The Colosseum, the Roman Forum, the Vatican, that's my Super Bowl. I've had a savings account labeled Roman Holiday since I was 16. So, 2 months ago, I graduated from college. Magna cum laude. I was the first person in our family to get a degree with honors. My grandparents were bursting with pride. At my graduation party, in front of everyone, they handed me a thick, beautiful envelope. Inside was a full itinerary for a 10-day, all-expenses-paid trip to Rome for 2. We're talking first-class flights, a 5-star hotel with a view of the Pantheon, and pre-booked private tours of the Colosseum and the Vatican. It was, without exaggeration, the single greatest gift I had ever received. I was literally in tears, hugging my grandparents so hard they probably couldn't breathe. I looked over at my family. My parents had those tight, forced smiles on their faces. And Jessica? Oh, Jessica was pouting. I mean, a full-on, bottom lip stuck out pout. Rome? She whined, loud enough for everyone to hear. Isn't that just, like, a bunch of old rocks? So boring. My mom immediately rushed to her side. Now, sweetie, it's a very thoughtful gift. We'll get you that trip to Bali you wanted for your birthday. Don't you worry. I should have known then. I should have seen the storm clouds gathering. But I was just too damn happy. I had my dream trip, and I was already planning who to take with me. The entitlement from my sister was just background noise. Or so I thought. The first attack came a week later. My parents sat me down for one of their classic, "We're not mad, we're just disappointed" talks. Honey, my dad started. We know how much you're looking forward to this trip. But Jessica, she's just had a really rough week. Her boyfriend of 6 weeks had just broken up with her. It was a tragedy of Shakespearean proportions, apparently. My mom picked up the thread. She just really needs a win right now. A little pick-me-up. We were thinking, maybe you could let her have the tickets? You're so mature and responsible. You can save up and go anytime. She needs this. I just stared at them. I was flabbergasted. Are you serious? I asked. This is my graduation present. 4 years of hard work. Jessica's rough week. Is that her flavor of the month boyfriend dumped her? The answer is no. Absolutely not. My dad sighed dramatically. I just don't know where we went wrong with you. You've become so selfish. That was just the opening shot. The next few weeks were a full-blown psychological warfare campaign. Jessica would send me these long, rambling texts full of guilt-tripping nonsense. I just lay in bed and cry all day. I think a trip to Rome is the only thing that could cure my depression. I can't believe you deny your own sister a chance at happiness. I blocked her number. So then, my parents stepped up their game. Every dinner, every phone call was about the damn trip. It was, your sister isn't eating. She's just so upset about your refusal to share. Or, You're creating a permanent rift in this family. Is a vacation really worth more than your sister's well-being? It was insane. They were acting like I was hoarding the last lifeboat on the Titanic. My grandparents caught wind of it and went ballistic. My grandpa called my dad and, from what I heard, gave him a verbal dressing down that was nothing short of legendary. My grandma called me and said, "You stand your ground. That trip is yours. We are so proud of you, and you've earned it. Don't you let them bully you." Of course, this just made my parents double down. Now, in their minds, I had tattled on them and turned their own parents against them. I was the villain of the whole story. The week before the trip, I went over for Sunday dinner. It was the last time I'd see them before I left. And they were weird. They were nice. Too nice. My mom made my favorite meal. My dad kept asking if I was excited. Jessica even managed a tight-lipped smile and said, "Have a good time." It was unsettling. It felt like I had walked into an episode of The Twilight Zone. But I thought, hey, maybe they've finally accepted it. Maybe they're trying to make peace before I go. I was so naive. I got home that night feeling pretty good. I went to my bedroom to pull out my carry-on bag, and I decided to double-check my travel folder. It had my passport, the printed tickets, the hotel confirmations, everything. It wasn't on my desk. I checked my drawers. I checked my closet. A small, cold knot of dread started to form in my stomach. I tore my entire apartment apart. Nothing. My hands were shaking when I called my mom. "Mom," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "I can't find my passport. Or the travel folder. Did I leave it at your house by any chance?" Her voice came back, dripping with fake sweetness. Oh, it was the syrupy, condescending tone she used when she thought she'd won. "Oh, honey, don't you worry about that. We have it. We saw it on your desk and thought we'd keep it safe for you." The knot in my stomach turned to ice. "What are you talking about? Why do you have my passport?" And then she dropped the bomb. "Well, after you left, we all just talked about it, and we decided it was for the best. Jessica is just so fragile right now, and you're so strong. She's already packed. Her flight leaves at 7 a.m. We thought it would be a wonderful surprise for everyone. You're such a wonderful, understanding son for giving this to your sister. We're so proud of you." I was silent. I couldn't even form words. They hadn't just persuaded me. They hadn't just asked. They had gone into my apartment, into my room, and stolen my passport. They stole my gift. They stole my dream. In that moment, something inside me didn't break. No, it crystallized. All the years of being second best, of being the responsible one, of swallowing my disappointment, it all hardened into a diamond of pure, cold rage. I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I just said, "Okay, Mom, I understand." And I hung up the phone. Then, I went to work. I sat down at my computer and pulled up the very first email my grandmother had sent me. It had all the confirmation numbers, all the booking references. And, most importantly, my name and my email address were on every single one. I was the primary contact. They had the paper tickets, but I had the digital keys to the kingdom. First, the airline. I logged into my account. There they were, 2 first-class, round-trip tickets to Rome. My name was on one, and the second was a guest pass. I clicked Manage My Booking. A beautiful little button appeared. Cancel flights for full travel credit. Click. A confirmation popped up. Your credit of $14,500 is now available in your account. Beautiful. Next, the hotel. The 5-star hotel with the view of the Pantheon. Reservation under my name. I found the cancel reservation link. Since it was more than 72 hours in advance, the cancellation policy was a full refund. Click. Your cancellation is confirmed. A full refund of $8,000 will be issued to the original credit card. I knew my grandparents would see that refund and know exactly what it meant. Finally, the tours. The private, skip-the-line tours of the Colosseum and the Vatican. 2 simple emails. "Hello. I regret to inform you that I need to cancel my upcoming tour. Send." And send. I shut my laptop. I went to bed and slept better than I had in years. My phone started ringing at 5:30 a.m. I ignored it. It rang again. And again. Finally, around 6:15, I decided to answer. And that, my friends, is where we came in. "What did you do?" My mother shrieked again from the check-in desk. I could hear the airline agent in the background, saying something like, "Ma'am, there is no reservation. The tickets were canceled." "I told you, Mom," I said, my voice infuriatingly pleasant. "I canceled my trip. When I found out I wouldn't be going, I did the responsible thing and canceled it so someone else could get the seats. You're always telling me to be responsible." I could hear her sputtering. Then my dad got on the phone. His voice was booming. This is not a joke. You turn those tickets back on right now. I'm afraid I can't do that, Dad, I said. They're not tickets anymore. They're a travel credit. In my name. And the hotel has been refunded to Grandma and Grandpa's card. And the tours are canceled. There is no trip. Jessica is not going to Rome. In the background, I heard a wail. It was the unmistakable sound of a golden child realizing that the world, for the very first time, was not revolving around her. Jessica started screaming. He ruined everything. I hate him. I hate him. Look what you've done, my dad yelled. You've broken your sister's heart. No, Dad, I said, and my voice was cold as steel now. You did that. You broke her heart by teaching her that she deserves things she hasn't earned. You stole from me. You lied to me, and you thought you'd get away with it. You didn't. Now, you have 3 options. 1, you can all come home. 2, you can buy a last-minute, economy class ticket to Rome for 3 people at the counter. I hear they're a bargain this time of day. Or 3, you can stand there and yell at me. But just know, I'm hanging up in 10 seconds. Have a wonderful day. And I did. I hung up. The fallout was biblical. They came home a few hours later, and the storm of voicemails and angry texts was something to behold. They called me ungrateful, spiteful, a monster. I let them rage. Later that day, my grandparents called. My grandma was trying not to laugh. I could hear it in her voice. We saw the refund from the hotel, she said. Your mother called us, screaming. Did you really cancel the entire thing? I told them everything, including the part about them stealing my passport. The laughter in my grandma's voice died instantly. There was a cold silence. Then my grandpa got on the line. They stole your passport? That's it. They've crossed a line. My parents got a call from them that evening that was apparently so brutal, my mom was crying for 2 days straight. My grandparents informed them that not only were they 100% on my side, but they were also scheduling a meeting with their estate lawyer to make some adjustments. Suddenly, my parents were very, very interested in apologizing to me. I didn't accept. A forced apology isn't a real one. Jessica tried to launch a smear campaign on social media, posting some vague nonsense about family betrayal. It backfired spectacularly when one of my cousins commented, "Is this about the trip your grandparents bought for your brother that you tried to steal?" Because I have some thoughts on that. 2 months later, I used that flight credit. I rebooked a ticket for one. I went to Rome, by myself, for 12 glorious days. I saw every ruin, every museum, every piece of art I had ever dreamed of. It was the most incredible experience of my life. I sent my grandparents a postcard every single day. My relationship with my parents and Jessica is pretty much non-existent now. I see them at holidays, and it's painfully awkward. They have to live with the consequences of their actions, and they have to live with the entitled monster they created. I'm free. I learned that I can't change them, but I don't have to let them walk all over me. So yeah, that's how I ended up having the vacation of a lifetime and blowing up my family in the process. It was messy as hell, but let me tell you, standing in the Colosseum with the Italian sun on my face, knowing I had stood up for myself, it was totally, completely worth it. If you love hearing about golden children getting their just deserts, make sure you hit that subscribe button because you won't even believe what Jessica tried to pull at Christmas. It involves a stolen car and a very angry cat. You don't want to miss it.